Good after morning. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Floods. You can tell we both looked to the side that way because we're both like, do we have audio? Do we have audio? We've had a few gremlins this afternoon. So obviously it's 10 a.m. Ish.
Yep.
Ish,
somewhere.
Ish. But we were actually ready to go about 25 minutes ago. There's just been all of the fucking things that we, and when I say we, I mean entirely Bibby, has fixed. I did sit here though and offer emotional support and did get creative enough to just put on a WWE title from ICU. That's what I did. Yes. But welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. As you can see on the screen, my name is Graham Day. I'm joined by Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is the Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. If we do say so ourselves, we go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
On the dot.
Ish.
Never fail you.
Yes,
We never fail.
yeah, exactly. Do you know what? We're all the way over there. Come over here. Hey, how you doing? Hey. So yeah, we do go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. But it's not just about the stories. We also bring you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, and then we want to hear your thoughts and impressions on the stories, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's how the whole show works. So if you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved. And it's important that you do, because we are live on Twitch right now, but the live stream gets turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, and Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So there's lots of places where over 130,000 people have watched and listened to this on demand. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of those people. But before we jump into the stories, as we always do, let me remind you that you can type !loot drop into the chat. Is anyone going to type it? Do you know how to type !loot
droop?
Loot droop? Lag droop? So yeah, do feel free to type loot drop into the chat if you want to know how subscribers can win prizes on the channel. Most of the people in here probably know how it works, but you can always remind yourself. As well as that, ! Spam.
What work here? !
Astro.
Yeah.
Does that work here as well? I don't think that works here.
I don't think so, no. But it's been a long time since we've actually exported all of the new stuff from your house, including onto my PC and here.
Okay, ! time. And you can do what I did to Tito. Tito was in the chat earlier on. He says, what time do you call this? And then said, before I even managed to get a chance to response, in brackets, waits for the smart quick response. So I responded with ! time, which threw in the time is currently Thursday, 2:39:34 PM for Ice Cream Uploads. There you go. Kappa. So there you go. Bazinga, he said. Anyway, Spike, welcome in. What's the story, Morning Glory? Yeah, that's why I've got this in the way, Hide the Morning Glory. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
As you can tell.
Morning metal.
Oh, it's fucking good gear, is this, though?
It is. It's mega.
I mean, we're not doing anything with this, by the way. It's just, like, Bibby mentioned it the other day, and I just thought, you know what? It's just because we've not done anything with it yet. It's just such a shame to have it, like, off camera.
Yeah.
So I just went and grabbed it.
Well, I did have it on the stream here when you wasn't. Was it last week?
Yeah.
So we did flash it, show it off. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be on screen. It's got to get a bit of airtime at least once a week.
Go on then, baby.
Go on then, Gordon. You know what? It's actually been about 2 weeks since I've showed it. Do you want to see State of our Wares?
I said something last night. I think it was on stream, and what did I say? I can't remember. It might have been slam. You want to see State of our Timeless or something like that? I don't remember, but yeah, I did. Yeah. So that's something we don't have. ! Wes. What's the State of our Wes?
Yeah, it does.
Or ! Gordon.
That disappoints me greatly.
Go on then, Gordon.
Crikey.
We'll get them. Tito's doing all the things. ! Alert. None of that. ! Wes. None of that. We'll get it all in. But today is not that day. In the meantime, though, what we do have for you is a bunch of news stories. The biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games, including the fact that Jim Ryan, who's the big dog at PlayStation, says PlayStation has 2 unannounced live service games coming this fiscal year.
Oof.
I mean, slight tempering of the stories. If you're not into live service games, that might not mean something. Mm-hmm. However, some of the biggest ongoing games out there, the majority of the biggest ongoing games out there have some form of live service integration, and PlayStation has 2 unannounced live service games coming this year. Could be exciting. We'll then jump on, sticking with PlayStation, talk about the fact that Sony says PlayStation VR will have over, VR2 should I say, will have over 20 launch games. Then Sony, we've had 2 good stories for Sony. this is not a bad story, but it comes from a place that didn't even need to be a bad place. Sony has clarified that the PS Plus discount controversy that we spoke about on the Scoop just a couple of days ago, yesterday, the day before, was it yesterday, was only down to a technical error, which Bibby did say. He said, I don't doubt this will be fixed pretty soon. The fact that they're fixing it already.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's not bad going, that, is it?
Yeah, but as I said to you earlier on, unforced error. That's the phrase, the fucking tennis phrase. You didn't need to make it, but do you know what? GG's, fair plays. We then jump into a story that we're not going to spend a lot of time in it. We just want to mention it because we do mention these stories across the market, and we do want to keep everyone called out, even though we don't want to focus
keep you in check,
on it too
motherfucker.
heavily. Microsoft execs have been called out for verbal abuse and sexual harassment in a new report. Numerous women left feeling very uncomfortable. That's a story that we have. We will go through that, and then we'll finish up with a look at the Cycle Frontier, which brings free-to-play sci-fi Tarkov to Steam and the Epic Games Store on June the 8th. Ooh, free-to-play.
Yes,
Steam's most wish-listed free-to-play game arrives very soon.
Mental.
Yep. Exciting times. But for now, let's jump into... Oh, you're right, babe. You all right? Keeping you up. Keeping
No,
up.
my fucking son is.
Are we in the right place? Oh, you need to full screen it, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You silly sausage.
Yeah, Joseph can roll over now, so he keeps on trapping himself. Which is annoying because he wakes himself up, therefore waking us up. He lies on his front, but he can't get back onto his back yet. So I just see Samantha just going,
Get over.
just roll back. But, yeah.
We need to roll back. We're in the wrong place. Well, no, we were fine where we were because it's VGC, but I just want an excuse to press the button.
Obviously.
Andy Robertson at VGC has this article. I did mention it a second ago. Jim Ryan, big dog at PlayStation, says PlayStation has 2 unannounced live service games coming this fiscal year. Sony plans to have launched 12 such titles by 2025. So PlayStation is set to release 2 live service games during its current fiscal year, which ends in March 2023. That's according to Sony Interactive Entertainment President Jim Ryan, who said during a business briefing on Thursday that the company currently had what it considered to be 1 live service game in MLB The Show 22. MLB The Show's Diamond Dynasty mode enables players to buy randomized packs of cards, aka loot boxes, to try and build a dream team, either by earning or buying in-game currency. A slide shared during the briefing showed that the company plans to expand the number of service games by 2 during its current fiscal year 22. Asked by an analyst if the 2 additional titles were announced or included a Destiny release from Bungie, the studio it's set to acquire, Ryan said Destiny is not included in the 3 games slate for fiscal year 22. The 2 others are yet to be announced. End quote. During the briefing, Ryan and Sony considered live service titles to be games with no end. That's a quote, by the way. Sony plans to have released 12 such titles by its 2025 fiscal year. A slide shown during the briefing indicated with 3 arriving in fiscal year 23, 4 in fiscal year 24, and 2 more in fiscal year 25. During the same briefing, Ryan suggested that at least some of the live service games it has in development are planned for PC. Interesting. PlayStation has become known for its blockbuster single-player games such as Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and Ghost of Tsushima, but last May, Sony said it planned to develop more service-led experiences within its first-party roster. One of the planned live service games planned to release within the next 10 months even, could be Naughty Dog's in development The Last of Us multiplayer game. Naughty Dog has, for some time, been hiring for its first standalone month. Do you know, we don't need to know about the hirings and stuff. We can stop there. PlayStation is going to give us the good service. So I'll put this on the screen as PlayStation News Roundup because we have 3 different PlayStation stories and it's just easier to have it all under one title. But PlayStation to get 2 unannounced, completely brand new live service games, aka games that have no end, this fiscal year alone, plus 4 more next year, plus 2 more the year after. What are your thoughts, babe?
I feel like they're using the term live service pretty ambiguously here. Like, they want to be able to put the multiplayer in The Last of Us, but is multiplayer classed as live service? Because I don't think it is. Because if that was the case, games from 10, 15 years ago that had multiplayer were live service until it ended. Like, I genuinely thought live service was something like a battle royale like Fortnite or Warzone that has continuous daily login bonuses, that have weekly challenges,
Season
that have
passes.
but having just a multiplayer element to a game, surely that's not classed as live service. That doesn't make any sense.
Is Mario Kart on the SNES live service? I mean, I know it's
No.
not live because it doesn't have obviously online, but in theory that game has no end because me and you could battle each other out on the couch forever. So yeah, and I agree with you. Just saying it's got no end to it doesn't make it live service.
Yeah, it's live service until we shut the servers off. Like that, I definitely think that they've blurred the lines there. But yeah, I mean, I think one of them is going to be one of the the PlayStation Home alternative. I think that could be one. That would be a live service game, like a Second Life sim, an environment where your character can continue to walk the streets for as long as I have the servers on. You'll probably be able to go in and buy clothes. We've been through all this before. You all know. I don't need to go over this. But I'm interested to see what the other live service games are. I do think they're going to put Bungie in there with Destiny. There's no way they're leaving that out.
Yeah, because I mean that's not this year with him saying that. Bungie isn't one of them. There's 3 games coming. There are 3 games this year. Did they say MLB The Show was one of them, and then the other 2 are unannounced?
Unannounced, yeah.
So the new Destiny game comes next year or the year after.
Yeah, they'll include it in one of those numbers.
Yeah.
But the games that they want to bring out in the fiscal year, they're all going to get moved around anyway. Games are getting delayed left, right, and centre. They can say that they want 4 games coming out in the fiscal year 24, I think it is. It says what 4 games to come out. 2 of them are probably going to get pushed back. They want it all to be completed by year 25. That's not going to be the case. They're probably going to move on to 26 and 27 as well. So I love the ambition. You can never doubt a company from having near enough a 4-year plan, because again these games are going to end up getting delayed and slipping. I vaguely remember they were wanting to create a multiplayer part of Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if it's out yet.
I remember that as well.
But I don't know whether or not
Punch working on doing that, and people were talking like, will that be like factions from The Last of Us ish sort of thing? But then again, that's the thing. Like, it depends on how they work it. Because if The Last of Us exists as a game on the PS3 and PS4, and obviously PS5-ish, soon-ish, but then we get The Last of Us Online, does that become live service? For me, it doesn't. No. You just have an online multiplayer element. If they bring out The Last of Us multiplayer, and within that, you do have the ability to, kill 12 people this week, and you'll get daily missions and stuff that are added in server-side kind of thing, and then we connect to the server, and okay, it's a bit watered down, but that is live service. I'll let you have that one then. So if they're looking at doing that with their games, fair enough. You are getting live service games technically, but that is weak as fuck. So looking at this, I'll bring this back up on the screen that Bibby's got here. Looking at this article, you can see the number of single-player games they've got. There's a lot. The number of live service games, just MLB The Show. But then just to the side of that, for those of you that are watching on video, if you're not watching on video services, there's basically a bar graph that has, currently there is 1 live service game, MLB The Show. By the end of the year, that'll go up to 3. By the end of the year after that, up to 6. And then fiscal year 24, up to 10. And then in 25, it'll go up to 12. That has to be, surely, some stuff like MLB The Show or Last of Us factions-ish sort of stuff that are completely different across the spectrum. It can't all be factions-y sort of stuff because that's a crap selection. Also, is there enough space in the PlayStation market for 12 different live service games
in 3.5 years?
Yeah, it's just
it's a lot.
Like right now, I'm struggling to play 2 live service games that have been out for 5 years. And that was like playing through to get Doctor Strange in Fortnite this week, whilst also trying to get time to tick off my daily challenges in PUBG. Giving 12, you're just segregating your player base there.
Definitely watering it down, because you can imagine most of these are going to be free to play as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. There will obviously be a genre categorized ones where you know that you're not going to be playing it because it's in a genre that you're not particularly fond of, or it's a franchise that you've never played before. So they probably won't be on your radar. I can guarantee at least half of these won't be on our radar. I can't imagine us playing all of them.
Yeah, there'll be like obviously Genshin Impact's live service, but there'll be something that will appeal to a Genshin Impact sort of player, and then there'll be something that appeals to a Skyrim sort of player, something that appeals to a shootery sort of player, and then we'll obviously get the Destiny in there, MLB The Show, maybe some other sportsy sort of thing. So
yeah.
I mean,
This is football. They're going to bring that back as a live service game. That'll be amazing.
no.
I hope so.
No, it's fine because by fiscal year 2025, EA will have been bought by Sony because they were tying themselves out to Apple and everything the other day. So EA will sell themselves to Sony, and that'll be one of the 12.
I just realised it's been 17 years since the This Is Football game has been brought out. 2005.
17 years since the last football game.
I'm sure it's 2005. The last one got brought out. I mean, I think they have done different versions of it. So I think they did like World Tour Soccer on the PSP. And I think they did 2 of those. But This Is Football. 17 years. That's a fucking disgrace.
This is not football, evidently. God
This is not football. This is bullshit.
This is bullshit. Spike says, I'm always available. I'm now a live service. Well, there you go.
Hey. I'm one sexy motherfucker.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. Until he gets me killed again.
Did he play last night?
By drinking poison bleach. What?
Did he play last night?
No, I wasn't about in the Project Zomboid making me drink bleach. That I died because
you need every story needs a redemption arc, Graham, and that's where I come in. You know what I mean? I will avenge you.
Well, I wouldn't know. I'll be dead.
You are my origin story.
You get a redemption arc. I just get a dead arc. So I'll be the red and dead while you get the redemption.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, Sony is planning to add more live service content to its library. 2 games unannounced before the end of the fiscal year. So obviously that could be within the next 6 months-ish, but then there's still a few months extra on top of that because obviously that goes up until April next year. So
interesting that they put a Twisted Metal image at the top of it, which they have already announced that they're going to be making a new Twisted Metal game. So I don't really understand why that's at the top of it. But
I mean, Twisted Metal could be season pass, because if you think of Rocket League, season pass sort of stuff, Twisted Metal easily fits into that narrative. I don't know. I'm thinking Rocket League already has the car battler sort of thing sewn up. I just can't. Does the world need Twisted Metal anymore?
I thought this about Wreckfest, but people went mad for it. I mean, I don't see people talking about it now, but at the time when it came out, people was like, "Yeah, this is pretty sick." Like it's a similar. It's similar.
Been playing it on weekends as well, though. To be fair,
it definitely is one of those though, because it is a racing game. I don't think the ultimate goal is to smash into the other. I'd never played it, so I do apologise if this isn't the narrative that fits it. But I'm fairly certain it's like a Top Gear challenge. You've got to do a race to get to the end, but at the same time, your car's going to get fucked up.
There was it was a bit of both, I seem to remember. I mean, I've not played since the very first. I've played bits, like a game or 2 here and there on some of the games through the years, but the very first one, PS1-ish sort of era, I'm pretty sure there was like Destruction Derby elements within there kind of thing. So you could choose to race or battle.
Be the last car standing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just...
But Twisted Metal was just an all-out, go and blow that car up. So is it going to be a battle royale with cars? I mean, that's not been done before. To my best of my knowledge, that's not been done before.
Just imagine like a Destruction Derby sort of ring getting smaller.
I tell a lie. I think it's in Horizon. I think they did a battle royale in Horizon.
Honestly, just want you to tell the truth. That's what we're here for, babe.
Well, Forza Horizon. I apologise. I just need to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah, not Forbidden West. I know we're talking about PlayStation games.
I say Horizon. I just need to clarify. Yes, I do tell a lie. There was actually a battle royale in Forza Horizon.
Yeah, I mean, it's good news. It's good news. The only reason I sound kind of negative is I'm trying to think of what that could be, because 12 live service games makes me feel like that's a fucking lot. So why are you going for that many games? And you're going for that many games because cha-ching.
Yeah, they're going to be mobile-ish games.
Yeah, and that's and like we said the other day, mobile's not a bad thing itself. Some people might not be interested in it. Okay, that's fair enough. Just be aware that mobile is much better than a lot of people will give it credit for. But I feel like a lot of brands are running at live service like Square did with Avengers, because they're like, oh, we've got a great IP with Avengers and we can make shitloads of money with live service and it'll just work. and it won't. Not if you've not done it properly.
I did see that Avengers put out a hot patch yesterday. Like,
Did they?
they are still sorting out that game, which is great.
It is. I just don't
3 years
think that
later.
you can ever really sort that game out,
No.
like without fundamentally changing the game. They basically need a full development cycle. And how do you change a game that's how do you make a game back into development phase when it's already live and you're already patching it? Because it's like, okay, we're changing the game. We need to fully build it from the ground up. But then another team has just gone, oh, we just issued a patch, and it's like, fuck, okay, we'll have to back work engineer that, and you just never catch up with it. So it could be exceptional. I still believe a Marvel Universe live service game could be incredible, but just not that one. The game is dead. They're making quality of life changes with no content. I genuinely don't understand
Bob
why.
Duck and Weave is still mad over it. Like, he's still playing that game religiously, so there has to be something there.
I mean, he's a massive Marvel fan, so that probably. I mean, Tito professes to be, but he doesn't even have a PlayStation to play Marvel games. So
Does he have Wolverine as a character on Fortnite, mate?
I mean, I do.
Does he have Doctor Strange, mate?
I do, man. I got him yesterday, mate.
right,
All day before, whenever it was, but I've got him anyway, yeah, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, he calls himself a Marvel fan, and he doesn't even have PlayStation to play Spider-Man. I don't call myself an Xbox fan, but I'm still sat here with a Green Doom hoodie on.
Yeah.
So clearly, some of us just try harder than others to embrace our passions. That's all it is. I love you, Tito.
Yeah.
Might buy a PS5 now just for it.
Why not?
Do it. Get yourself on PlayStation Plus Premium Platinum Extra version Super Upgrade 0.2 or whatever it's called.
That works.
I don't know, something like that. Or you can just bag yourself a Sony PSVR 2, which is our next news story. It's on the screen now. Written by Andy Robertson at VGC, and it says Sony says PlayStation VR 2 will have over 20 launch games.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan says Sony Interactive Entertainment is spending, quote, a considerable amount of money. What's up?
Carry on, and I'll tell you after you've read that sentence.
Okay. Jim Ryan says Sony Interactive Entertainment is spending, quote, a considerable amount of money securing VR content from third-party developers. What are you laughing at?
So, a considerable out of that, they're spending a considerable amount of money. Imagine how much is going to be a considerable amount of money to be able to buy 20 games at launch. It's going to be a considerable amount of money.
The thing is, though, I feel like when I read that, I instantly thought that's a smelly headline. That headline stinks of, what was that, like VR Worlds where you got 5 mini games in one.
Yeah.
That'll be like, yep, here's your 20
5,
games.
yeah. A demo disc with 19 games.
Yeah, exactly. And just the London Heist again.
No. It's going to be a demo disc with 18 games, Skyrim VR, and the London Heist.
Resident Evil Kitchen coming soon.
Resi 4 VR.
So yeah, Sony has said it will have more than 20 games ready for the launch of PSVR 2. The launch games will cover both first-party and third-party titles, the corporation said during a business briefing on Thursday. See the slide below. Quote, right now, there is a considerable amount of money being spent on partnerships with independent and other third-party developers to secure a considerable pipeline of attractive VR content at the launch of PSVR 2, said President Jim Ryan. That energy, that effort, and that money will continue to grow as the installed base of PSVR 2 headsets grows also. I'm going to go past the slide. I'll come back up to that one in just a minute.
Next slide, please.
But next, nice. So we did it there. During Sony's, let's go get drunk. Let's have a pie. A couple of glasses of wine. I didn't even realise it was part 8. During Sony's CES 2022 keynote in January, the company first shared official technical specs for the PS5 VR headset and also confirmed the name as VR controller, the PSVR 2 Sense controller. And at this point, do you know what? We'll just stop because it's going over news that we've read before. Actually, do you know what? There's a PSVR game for Horizon called Call of the Mountain, which is from Guerrilla and Firesprite. They also shared images of the headset, and then we got technical details on what the headset actually contains. But back to the asset then. So slide 3 from the presentation is PSVR 2 new levels of immersion. So the controllers will have good ergonomics, haptic feedback, which makes it feel like when you're pulling back the string of the bow, you can feel the tension. Nice. And adaptive triggers. They'll have enhanced resolution and tracking, so it'll look better and it'll track your movements better. You can connect to the PS5 with only one cable, not the Matrix 20,000 cables and pipes into your skin and stuff that you needed previously. And they will have 20 plus major first-party titles and third-party titles confirmed for the PSVR 2 at launch.
Okay.
I don't have to ask you if you're interested in VR because I've seen you at Arcade Club. You
Love it.
clearly are interested in VR. So am I. Obviously, neither of us have a fully fledged VR system yet because they're just not quite there.
And they're super expensive.
Well, that too. But the good news is after you've just spent a small fortune buying a super expensive headset, you can spend a small fortune buying 20 games and release.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, mega. It's definitely a step in the right direction. PlayStation VR is a good piece of hardware. It's just a little bit dated now. Like, again, I say this story all the time. I do think that the goggles itself, albeit it says that it's 720 in each one, I don't think it was. Like when I was playing Resident Evil VR, I don't think it wasn't as crisp as I wanted it to be. But if I get the opportunity to be able to play Resident Evil VR again with a PS5 headset and it's 1080 in each glass, dead right.
I think you are right. Like I believe them when they say it's 720 in each lens kind of thing, and it's like, oh, that's great. But if you give me, say, if I hold up my phone and go, that's a 4K Retina display of that, and then I just stick a bit of cling film over the top of it, it's like, well, it looks like a piece of shit to me, and that's what it was like with. There was too much faff in trying to adjust lenses, and you just never got it quite right. Whereas, what was the not Oculus? Was it an Oculus? Whatever Lee brought in the Meta Quest thingy.
Yeah, the Quest 2 it was, yeah.
But that was just flawless. Like pretty much,
mega.
it was super easy to get that working. And I don't know enough about VR, but I assume that was because the PSVR was early days VR. The Quest was multiple iterations, and now at this point, PlayStation have been looking at what Quest's done, look at what Oculus have done, and now has gone, actually, do you know what? This is a bit easier.
Again, it comes down with experience, doesn't it? We said this yesterday. It comes down with experience of trying to tackle gremlins and whatever else, because things like this become dated pretty fast. There's always new iterations. Any technology, you buy the latest mobile phone now, I can guarantee in 2 months' time there will be something that's pretty much the exact same phone that you've got now, just with a better camera or an increased battery life, or the screen's just a couple of inches. But like, there's
on that. I don't know if you saw it. You might have been down here setting the studio up. I did put a story, not to be discussed on the scoop because it was one slide. It wasn't really a story, but there is now TCL Tech. I don't even know who that is, but they were having some form of presentation the media was watching yesterday. And they had a slide in it saying the consoles that people have not even got yet, like the PS5s and the Series X's, they predict that 23, 24 will have the pro versions of the consoles coming out. So exactly what you was just saying.
The technology that he got is just so outdated so fast now. It's just like, it's very difficult to be able to try and work on something that's current, knowing full well that by the time it probably comes out, like when this comes out, it's only going to be around for 18 months before whatever console spec's just been said for the Pro version is going to be out. So does this then become outdated? No, because they'll bring a PSVR 2 out at some point.
What, like a PSVR dress?
Yeah.
A PSVR
2. But yeah, I mean, I love VR. I do think it is definitely... It's nearly there for everything. Like having the Valve Index where you can put the gloves on and have the finger movements and stuff like that. Like that's the immersion that I love when it comes to stuff like that. It's very nearly. It just needs to make it affordable. That's the difference. Like
I think like having it like that learning and that having the Valve sort of like glove level of dexterity and so on. PSVR was cool. But like we're talking about, the lenses just don't sit quite right. There was multiple wires and things like that. But they clearly just went, okay, the headset's going to cost about £1 million. So we can't really make it how we want. Let's cut this off. Let's do that. Let's put this in. Okay, we need the finger like dexterity stuff. Okay, well the headset we've already bottomed out and it's going to be £500. So if we want the fingery stuff, it's going to be a £1,500 system. Nobody's going to buy it. Well, you do realise we've got these stupid wands from PS Move shit. We'll use that shit, yeah. And it did the job, but it was never quite right. So the fact that we do have proper map-to-your-hand shaped ergonomic functions as part of it now, it looks better and it will 100% play better. Let me put that back on the screen so for people that don't know what we're talking about, general PlayStation news. So it has matured. We'll have better games. Developers will have had a bit more time getting experience with it as well. 20 games coming. Better hardware, better ways of engaging with it. I'm still at this point, not at the point. I mean, I'm very pro VR, but at this point, I'm not going to buy one ready for launch.
Yeah.
PlayStation, if you want to hook us up and, set your boys up, then we will absolutely play the games at launch. But we are not going to jump in, or at least I'm not speaking for Bib, but I'm not going to jump in until I know that those 20 games are not all we are getting. If
Yeah.
we go, boom, 20 games, pow, launch titles. What's next? Oh, well, we're going to see if the launch ones actually do anything first.
And it's a very PS Vita, the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Support it at launch, then not get that much going forward. I mean, they did have some fantastic third-party games that had VR support.
What was that?
Arizona Sunshine.
Arizona Sunshine. I was going to say Sunset
love
Overdrive,
that.
but that's something completely different.
Loved that game. That was brilliant. But I mean, I want to be in a future, Graham, where the VR is getting taken to the next level. Like I'm buying peripherals for my VR. Like we had Fireteam, Axis, or something like that.
What is a haptic thong? What are you doing with
I mean,
nothing? No.
yeah, I mean, fair. Samantha goes to bed early. You know what I mean? But I want to see VR. I want to see Move Golf Club. I want to see Move Cricket Bat. I want to see Move Baseball Bat. Like, imagine having haptic feedback in a cricket bat.
I mean,
That'd be sick.
See, that's all nice, but you're a sporty person. I mean, I'm sporty, but playing devil's advocate, I'm not interested in sports, so I want to move crowbar, you know, get windows open.
This is Home Alone.
Live in Salford, mate.
Yeah, Home Alone.
Live in Salford, mate. Those electric shutters are not going to open themselves, are they?
But like we've seen it so many times over the year. This haptic vest that's been going on about. So when you play in a shooting game, you can feel it on your chest.
Oh, I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. You can feel like it feels like you're getting shot. Like I've said, no, I don't really want to feel what it feels like to be shot, but. Yeah, I feel that's the next step with VR. Yeah, you want that VR-ness. You want to feel like you're being immersed in that world again. I don't really ever want to be shot, but if they've got the option to be wearing a vest that does have the haptic feedbacks and I'm playing in a VR game, fucking dead right, I want to buy that.
Yeah. So for those that missed it, Sony has announced that PlayStation VR 2 will have over 20 launch games. That includes first-party titles, so titles from Sony themselves, but also third parties. We do know that Horizon Call of the Mountain is one of the games that will be coming. You can probably expect maybe rehashes of the likes of Resident Evil, things like that. Do you know what? I think Resi is probably a good one to shout, even if it's not a rehash of something that exists before, just because they've been there and had success before.
Village, that'd be good.
Yeah, something like a VR add-in to that to be able to just play that game. I think that's the key thing, is trying to find a way that makes 3D environments be virtual reality 3D explorable. So even if it's just like almost like an interpreter, some way of the engine being encoded so that you can actually move around it in 360 degrees kind of thing. And that's once someone figures out a way of rendering the full environment at the scale. What's up?
No, I'm just thinking about it now. There's no fucking way. If I'm playing Resident Evil in VR, Resident 7 was fantastic in VR. Like it had its flaws, but yeah, there was still elements where this is a little bit too realistic. Like this is probably this VR 2 headset. If I was playing Village, yeah, I'd be shitting my pants.
Shit my pants. Fucking let's get developers. By the way, if you just look at that over there. Developers, by the way, if you just want to bring up the Visage VR, bit of Visage VR, that'd be nice. We'll get a couple of it.
Never. You're a dickhead.
One of the best clips on the internet. Oh, shout out to Bibby and Mrs. Bibby for playing that game for our viewing pleasure, and shout out to me for making them jump every 5 seconds with bits. Let's go.
Never.
I mean, it's not like she was heavily pregnant when that happened either as well. So thank you to Baby Bibby for having no option but being involved too. Your first family stream. Let's go. West, I'll read! Exclamation mark alert. It won't work.
It won't work.
It won't work. But
That's
welcome
how
in.
late you are. I've already been through this.
Yeah, Tito's already done it. He's typed in exclamation mark alert, exclamation mark Wes, and then exclamation mark disappointment, which I don't think he realises isn't a command. Silly sausage. And we got an exclamation mark spam too. But exclamation mark time does work, because he did ask what time we call this. So we did with exclamation mark time. Good afternoon, welcome in though, Wes. West. Look at what's the state of our West.
What is the state of our West?
So yes, if you missed the story so far, we have had a little bit of a PlayStation news roundup. PlayStation has confirmed there's 2 unannounced live service games that are due to be coming in this next fiscal year. When PSVR 2 launches, there will be 20 games alongside that. And they have also saved the day. I want to say save the day. What I mean is they fecked up, but they have backpedaled extremely quickly to fix an issue that didn't really need to be there in the first place. But They fixed it. That's it is what it is. We'll just we're in the wrong place. Let me move over the other side of that.
Yeah. That Scarlet Witch that model thing always tickles me. I actually looked at how much that was, and it's about 300 quid even for the knockoff one.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, if it's like 20 quid, I'll probably buy it because it'll be really good just on the side.
Scarlet Witch.
But no, not for 300 sheets.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, article. Sony clarifies that PS Plus discount controversy was down to a technical error. This is written by Joshua Robertson at The Gamer. Users in Asia recently started reporting lower upgrade costs. We spoke about this on the show yesterday, and within 24 hours after seeing the scoop being up in arms, Sony have listened specifically to us and what we said and have made changes. So the article, we'll jump in now. So Sony can't buy good publicity for its revamped PS Plus subscription service at the moment, with several recent stories painting the service as a more lackluster version of Xbox Game Pass. One of these stories involves those who stacked their subscriptions during PS Plus discounts, as it was recently reported by users that they were being asked to pay back discounts in order to upgrade to the extra or premium tier subscriptions. Thankfully, this no longer appears to be the case. A recent tweet from the official Ask PlayStation Twitter account has clarified that, quote, a technical error, end quote, was the reason behind the extra charges that users were being asked for, and that those impacted will receive credits as a form of apology. Credits. So you've had to spend a chunk of money. Do we give you the money back? No. But we will give you credit. Fuck you. The error has now also been fixed, so users in other countries won't be affected once the service becomes available. Whilst it's nice to have clarification from Sony itself, this fix was actually noticed by several users earlier today. First spotted by Push Square, users affected by this issue began reporting lower upgrade prices than they were originally given, which seemed to imply that Sony backtracked on plans to get users to pay back any past discounts. Now that we have Sony's official statement, it seems the publisher may have been using the service's rollout in Asia to iron out any issues before implementing the service worldwide. Either that, or it's telling porkies. Thanks to the service's rollout in Asia, we've actually been given a fair amount of details regarding key features that were previously unknown. It's been revealed that several of the service's PS1 classics will have trophy support, although that depends on the original developer. We also know that premium... I'm going to die. Nice. We also know that premium games can be played offline as long as you log in every week, and that Dino Crisis could soon be headed to the service. Do you know, yesterday I said, oh, there's a cool article there, I'm going to jump on that in a second. It was the Dino Crisis article popping up in VGC, and I forgot about clicking it back. So, anyway, as it was recently featured as cover art for the Classics catalogue.
Yeah.
We'll stop there. I don't believe it. Do you know what? I wish I could take them at face value for this, but I don't quite believe it. Sony clarifies that PS Plus discount controversy was down to a technical error. AKA, you stacked all your subscriptions, you got a 50% discount, and the system knows that you only got a 20% discount or whatever, and you then stacked 3 years in advance. You then need to pay that 20% back to get the discounts, to upgrade to the better things, and then pay the extra to get up. It's not just a technical error because there was emails sent. I haven't seen these, but I was listening to the Kind of Funny Games Daily podcast on the way in this morning. They were talking about this 6 o'clock-ish last night. And in that podcast, they were referencing emails that customer services had actually sent to someone that had reached out. It was in Japanese and it was translated, I think, put on Reddit. And the customer services team they said that because you had a discounted thing, you need to pay back that discount in order to be able to take part in future subscriptions. So it was meant to be like that. There is a little bit of a caveat there. Usually, your customer service representatives have been given scripts or know exactly what their answer is defined by what they've been told to say. They don't just make it up on the fly. That said, if someone in the customer services team has looked at this and gone, well, yeah, that's what's happening, you're trying to do it, and it's asking for you to pay the bill, so they could have maybe done that. And if that is the case, then Sony are telling the truth and it was a technical bug. But it just doesn't feel right to me. For it to go through that, for that to happen, for then someone to escalate to customer services and customer services to go, it's not customer services if you are just explaining what I can see. That's audible or verbal or written description services. It's not customer. You're not servicing the customer. You are just repeating it. So I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I feel like it was not a technical error. I feel it maybe was an error in terms of a planning error. I feel the system worked exactly how they expected it to work, but didn't quite consider that. And if that's the case, then yes, they still made a mistake and they fixed it. Okay, that's fine. But I don't feel like, that shouldn't have happened. I feel like it should have happened. And customer services have said it should have happened. But they fixed it. Is that good enough?
Yeah, within 48 hours, I think that's a pretty good turnaround. If you had a problem with any service and they turned it around within 48 hours, I think that's more than acceptable. Obviously, you'd like it to be done in a couple of hours, but for something as big as this and it gets rolled out to millions of people, people will be double checking it, triple checking it, just to make sure that what they're doing is correct. But 48 hours for any kind of turnaround like this, I think you have to give them props for.
I think you're absolutely right in terms of something that big that's only been rolled out in certain regions so they can test, scale, and grow and improve as they go. It's exactly why they've only released it in Asia and things like that. So the correct answer is yes, they made a mistake and they fixed it. Whether they meant to or not, or whatever reason it is, it has been fixed within, from us speaking about it, it was 24 hours, but was in the 48-hour period kind of thing. That's rapid. The whole world has no option to even get hold of this, just as a very small part of the world. So it's great, it's fine, wonderful. However, there is still the bigger picture of unforced error. How have you made yet another cock-up in this? Like, it's such a meme, but good guy Xbox, bad guy PlayStation, which is a complete role reversal of the last gen. And it just seems like PlayStation, the only ones knocking PlayStation back are PlayStation. And they're just doing it so consistently. It's so frustrating to see them making so many calamitous mistakes. You have to feel for anyone that's in marketing that's just gone.
Yeah, I mean...
For anyone listening to audio podcasts, that's me just going, what the fuck, face?
What's the phrase called where...
Stupid as fuck!
Where you have to keep on testing something to make sure that it works. There's a phrase...
QA?
No.
Testing?
No. So you're basically testing every single outcome of you going of something happening.
I don't know.
There's a phrase and I can't remember what it is. Well, basically, you every single scenario that could potentially happen when you roll out with something. If I'm doing something, I would have to, that's going out towards the world, for instance, I would have a million different scenarios where I would have to make sure that every single scenario that happens, I would have to make sure that it works. No, not UAT. It's an actual phrase, and I think I'm going mental, not forgetting about it. But basically, you would have to check every single instance of this going live, and then basically it's like crisis prevention or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but can they be held absolutely responsible if it's something that being overlooked? Maybe brute force testing. It's not that. I don't know. I fuck knows.
We know what you mean, though.
Yeah, so if they forget about it, well, it's not even being forgetting about it, it's just a scenario that never came up when they was testing something. Can anyone really stick the boot in if they've rectified it within 48 hours?
And that's the thing.
Or should they know about that?
I feel like
crisis prevention. I don't think that's it. I don't fucking know.
I mean, that we'll just go with that anyway, though. In terms of Xbox have had their own crisis with this similar sort of stuff recently. So if Xbox can do it, should PlayStation should be able to do it. It just means that nobody's immune to pricing systems, and legitimately they are probably confusing and as difficult as fuck. There is probably all sorts of regulations that are different from country to country that they've needed to plumb into a system that does it all for you. Just going, do you want to change? Yes. You don't realise that it's checking through all these different things. So it probably is massively complex.
Yeah.
So should they be given a pass for this? I believe they should. I do believe they should. But I do believe that it's not... I don't feel like they should be held accountable for the fact that they've made this mistake. I just feel like another mistake added to the string. It's not what they needed. That's the thing. It's like, it's only a small one, and it was only there for a small period of time, but it's been fixed. And that was like... It was almost... Go back to Xbox's TV conference. We got that, and everyone was like, ooh, this is bad. And then we got the DRM stuff, you can't trade in your games, you can't lend them to your mates, and then that was it. Boom! Every little thing came along. Then it was like, oh fuck you, kadung, 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 just beating them with a stick. And PlayStation is in that situation. They haven't had their DRM moment yet, and they are trying to get out a bit quicker than Xbox did. I mean, Xbox stuck with it. Nope, we're sticking with this. This is great. Online all the time, DRM stuff. Yeah, love it. TV, big fan. 3 weeks later, they were like,
they roll back.
Whereas PlayStation have started to, they stuck to the guns in the right ways. They were a bit silent, which bought them time, whilst they prepped their Game Pass alike PS Plus stuff. So PlayStation are trying to dig themselves out of it, but they're not going to get anywhere if they just keep cocking up on the way. Every little bit of ground.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would say in terms of brands, Xbox is better placed right now. In terms of market share and all that stuff, PlayStation is still massively ahead. So that's one fight, but the brand placement stuff is where they need to recover. Everyone knew that for the players was the PlayStation had your back and the Xbox were dickheads. And now everyone knows right now, PlayStation are dickheads and Xbox aren't. And they can't get past that if they keep fucking up. It's like, okay, well, you didn't do that maliciously, but you keep fucking up, which means you're just a bit shit, which means you're a dickhead still. So,
well, if every PlayStation problem that came out and they solved it within 48 hours... I think people will just be patting them on the back. Like, there is no way that there's everything that goes out in the world is like, fucking hell, we tried it this afternoon. We was here for literally 25 minutes. We're trying to get all the streams to go live because we think there's an update that's happened on the PC that has never happened before.
48 hours to fix things. We still don't have exclamation mark Wes in the studio.
Exactly.
So fuck, that's like 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. If every problem in the world got solved within 48 hours, the world would be so much more of an efficient place, but it doesn't. For this, I do think it was an oversight. They've looked at 50 scenarios, and it was the 51st that no one even considered was the thing that let them down. They fixed it within 48 hours. For me, I'm not just saying it because I'm Team Blue. I've got Xboxes and stuff like that, but PlayStation is a prominent console. It's very easy for me to say I give them a pass on this one, but anything sorted out technical within 48 hours. For millions of people, I would probably say, do you know what? Job well done, guys.
The only thing I would change for them on this is give me more than technical error. I feel PlayStation is at this point in time.
This is the polish.
Yeah.
Bastards.
I feel like PlayStation's at this point in time, because of that, you're a dickhead. You're a dickhead.
You're a dickhead.
Kind of thing. It's like, I'm not a dickhead. Look, it was a technical error. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, say why, or say, actually, do you know, like what Xbox did was like, okay, we didn't anticipate that people would still be using this. We misread the situation. We ballsed it up. We've turned that back, and here's what we did extra. And that for me is the only difference.
Extra merit in it.
Yeah, exactly. They went above and beyond, and that's where PlayStation have gone to the, okay, it was wrong.
Yeah.
Technical error. Move along. Nothing to see here.
Best wishes.
And it was just like, what? But why? What does that mean? Give me some more kind of thing. So it's not bad. It's not bad. GGs, and a big GGs for so quickly in a turnaround phase where everything is in flux, because they are probably like balls to the wall trying to get ready to roll out in Europe and America and everywhere else in June, to be able to just quickly flick a switch and go, yep, okay, fixed. Nice. It definitely is commendable. Just keep that commendable stuff going forward. Put a little bit extra due diligence into everything else. But for now, do you know what? Just to prove that we are not pro PlayStation on this stream, we're going to start talking about Xbox. And actually, I'm going to stop for just a second there, because I was leading into that with a joke, and it's not really a jokey article. So let me pull back from that one. Let's just jump straight into the news here. Written by Victoria Kennedy at Eurogamer. The article says Microsoft execs called out for verbal abuse and sexual harassment in a new report. Numerous women are left feeling, quote, very uncomfortable. We're not going to stick on this one for too long. We do feel it's fair to keep providing these articles. I feel it's fair to say that covering abuse articles can be quite tedious for the readers, because you don't want to be hearing that this stuff exists. However, being blind to this and putting your head in the sand is not going to help any sort of resolution. So we are sharing them when news and brands that we do interact with are being held to task, we want to make sure that they're held accountable.
Combo.
So we did cover the articles a couple of weeks back when PlayStation was featured. Xbox is now being featured. So actually, obviously, we're going to keep the conversations going just out of a little bit of balance. Tedious, you said my name. Sorry, TDO.
That's not their name.
So a new report has called out Microsoft executives, both former and current, for their poor behaviour towards staff, including instances of verbal abuse and sexual harassment. Insider via Windows Central reported that Microsoft's Alex Kipman, Terry Myerson, and Tom Keane have all been accused of creating a toxic workplace environment during their time with the company. Most notably, and incredibly disturbingly, Kipman, who currently oversees Microsoft's metaverse efforts, is reported to have watched inappropriate footage via a VR headset, which was then projected onto an external screen while in a room full of his colleagues. Quote, in the video that filled the screen, several young women in skimpy clothing frolicked on a bed. An overtly sexualized pillow fight ensued, wrote Insider. An employee went on to describe the scenes as VR porn, saying that those present exchanged confused glances and several of them, understandably, went on to leave the room. Following this incident, numerous women said the whole situation left them feeling very uncomfortable. The report goes on to accuse Kipman of fostering, quote, a culture that diminishes women's contributions, and describes an incident where Kipman continually rubbed a female employee's shoulders even after she deliberately shrugged her shoulders in an effort to make him stop and looked deeply uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Terry Myerson, who formerly oversaw Windows, and Tom Keane, a corporate vice president of the company's Azure cloud computing business, were also called out in Insider's report for their behavior. Myerson allegedly had a meltdown during a Microsoft event where he verbally berated everyone. That's a quote, by the way, the word everyone. This reportedly led to a departure from the company in 2018. Keane's story is a similar one. Excuse me, with the former exec being accused of making his employees cry in public and running things like a dictatorship, the result of which saw those affected dub him King Tom. Keane was reassigned within Microsoft in January. However, he still oversees hundreds of employees within the company. Eurogamer has contacted Microsoft for comment on the report. That was the article in full. Once again, shout out to Victoria Kennedy at Eurogamer for giving us the news. Apologies for taking the Steam out of the sales and going through the full article. We just wanted to be concise with everything there. But yes, the Tito basically put it something along these lines when we shared this in the Discord, the Scoop channel in the Discord earlier. It's like, fucking, is there any companies that aren't shithouses? And that's
Jelly Media.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think anyone can be here in terms of any company can be a result of shitty behavior like this, because it's not the companies, it's the individuals. However, the companies not or being too scared to act on or to deal with these. I don't believe this is the end of it. We said this before. I believe there'll be more companies, other brands that have spoken out in favor of like fixing these wrongs. I reckon that they will be like, oh, you do realize you've had your own shit going on in-house as well. I think that will happen even more. But every time someone speaks out, every time someone's held to task, every time an example of how people shouldn't be behaving is aired publicly like this, that gives other people, even if it's not the businesses, that gives the people within those businesses the strength to be able to call bullshit and make people take stock of the way that they are behaving. So, shit story. But
my issue with this is that these people, these arseholes, are in positions of power. And do you really think that this is the first time that someone's had a meltdown and started slagging people off? Do you really think this is the first time that someone started rubbing a woman's shoulders in the office to make us feel uncomfortable? Like, they've been doing that, got into a position of power, and then doubled down on it. Like, who the fuck is watching porn on a VR headset in a room full of 100 people while it's being shown on a giant TV?
Bizarre,
that is bizarre. That is weird behaviour.
If you were sat there on your phone watching porn next to me while we were setting up for this, I'd be like,
do you realise where you are?
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like, you are in the office. Like, save that shit for home.
I mean, usually I'd naturally be throwing in with a joke. We are quite a joke channel, so usually I'd be like, let's have a look, bantery stuff like that, talking about this. But in reality, you'd be like,
yeah,
that's fucking weird, is that?
That
Obviously,
is weird.
we can joke about, look on the way, but actually putting it into practice, there's a difference between joking about things and actually being fucking weird.
Like, say those words out loud, Graham. Someone was in a room full of hundreds of people with a VR headset on and a giant screen behind them, bigger than this, watching porn on a headset.
Would you like
That is weird.
Would you all want to come into this meeting and watch me watch porn?
That's weird, isn't it? Like, how do you think you could get away with stuff like that? I don't know. It's incredibly weird and creepy behaviour, but these people have obviously been doing it for so long that they feel like they can just do that without even thinking about it. But
you just know that there's been something that's led to that, and that something is not just a thing, but maybe lots of things. Oh, we just joked about it, and someone then loaded up a picture or whatever, and then that picture was, oh, there's a video that was pretty similar, and then fucking, oh, someone sent something on a WhatsApp group, and then that, and it just pushed and pushed and pushed. Like, fucking hell. Just take stock of where you are and what you're doing. God damn. Was he trying to look at farming articles too?
yeah, that was the PM thing when someone was in the House of Commons.
Oh, he was trying to look at tractors.
Yeah, trying to look at tractors.
And then something else popped up by accident or whatever. And I didn't look for it the first time, but then I admit that I did go back and look because it caught my interest. AKA he got semi and thought, fuck this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Imagine, like, that's weird as fuck anyway. If you sat in an office and you've just said, oh, some porn, I'm going to go and actually watch that. Just sitting there knowing that you are watching porn in the office with workmates around you is weird as fuck. If that office is like Parliament.
Yeah, where there's cameras everywhere. They literally have a Parliament channel, don't they, where it's just like 24 hours a day, whatever's on being talked about in the Houses of Parliament is being shown on TV. Someone is sat there with a woody watching someone ride a tractor.
That's how he got his phone to stand up. He doesn't have a leg. How's your phone? Oh.
Again, this is weird behaviour from creeps, and obviously something that's been normalised in their life. It's not. I don't think it's a secret that people in obviously positions of power and politicians, most notably, have a very weird culture about them. But being able to do that on a global scale is fucking weird.
Yeah, massively weird. In the chat, Spike says 2 girls, 1 VR headset. That's where you're wrong. It was actually a lot more than 2 girls.
It was one guy, 1 headset, 400 viewers.
Fuck me. Manatin, welcome in. Hello.
Hello.
Hey. How you doing? How are you doing? Welcome back, dude. Tito says, funnily enough, he's from my neck of the woods. If you know Tiverton, you'd know nothing would surprise you. Great. Sounds like a lovely guy. I like the fact that he's... like, I don't know whether it was him trying to do PR stuff or whether his wife just got like cornered by a newspaper or something, but his wife was in the news the day after going, it's a lovely guy.
No, of course he is, yeah. He watches far too much porn at home, though. He can't help himself.
Fucking, the other week, I mean, look, it was only tractors. Last week he was looking at a Rolls Royce and one popped up. We lost him for 6 hours.
He told me that he was buying a tractor calendar. Little did I know that there was a Nuts Magazine calendar on the wall when I came home. He swears blind that he was meant to be Tractor of the Year, though.
On that bombshell, let's move ahead. Our next news story is written by Sherif Saed at VG247. I want to say Sherif Saed, I got a lot of respect for, but we don't feature him as much anymore, just because VG247, their site's still poop.
Yeah, look at how much. I mean, I don't think I've got ad blocker on this website because it won't let me in it, but there's a lot of white space on there.
I mean, I clearly have ad block turned on because I just got fucking. But yeah, there is that down the side is not ad block. That is actual just lost white space, which that makes me think that's meant to be mobile responsive. That's just like, fuck it, that'll do. So yeah. Anyway, the article does say the Cycle Frontier brings free-to-play sci-fi Tarkov to Steam and Epic Game Store June the 8th. Steam's most wishlisted free-to-play game arrives very soon. Just confirm. Most wishlisted free-to-play, not most wishlisted because that would be the day before, which doesn't arrive soon, as we've already told you. That's not coming till next year, and I'm not disappointed. So, the time is finally upon us. Jaeger's The Cycle Frontier, the promising sci-fi take on Escape from Tarkov, has a release date. After 2 major closed beta tests, the developer finally revealed that PC players on Steam and the Epic Games Store will be able to drop in on June the 8th. This is when the pre-season begins. Effectively, a soft launch for the highly anticipated shooter. The first season will kick off in earnest 2 weeks later on June 22nd. Where is earnest? Why is it only kicking off in earnest? Is it not kicking off worldwide? Fuck's sake. Fucking, I want to play it. Well, I've never even been to. Okay, back in the room. So the first season will kick off in earnest 2 weeks later on June the 22nd, bringing with it the first battle pass. You're so immature, honestly. Despite a lack of blowout ads and sponsored streams, the game has found success organically on Twitch as well as Steam. At the time of this writing, Frontier is Steam's most wishlisted free-to-play game. Both beta tests were limited, but they still managed to grab over 900,000 players. Imagine a beta getting 900,000 players. That is big. So the Cycle Frontier is a PvEVP shooter in the emerging genre of extraction royale. Unlike traditional battle royale, the stakes are significantly higher as players must extract from the match alive or risk losing their acquired loot. Outside of the shooting and looting, players can invest their earned riches on passive upgrades and a wide range of craftable weapons and tools. Frontier aims to be a lighter, less punishing take on that formula. It offers true matchmaking, for one, designed to get players with a similar rate of successful extractions together. It also has a more simplified ammo and armor system, a clear map that shows points of interest and extraction zones, and more besides. Frontier is an evolution of the Cycle, one of the pioneers of the PvEVP genre. Though the original game did find some success, it ultimately wasn't enough to keep Jaeger going. The studio ended up killing it in favor of Frontier. And it's so far looking like that was the right call. If you're intrigued, you're able to download the game in 2 weeks on Steam and the Epic Games Store, and you can wishlist it today.
Yeah.
Does the Cycle Frontier have your attention, babe?
It does, Graham, because as I said to you before we went live today, I remember playing the original iteration of the Cycle with Alpi way back when, maybe 2 years ago. And we both, I really enjoyed it. I can't remember if he was a fan or not, but we did play it for quite a while. It was the first PvEVP type game that I'd ever played
so
before.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
PvE,
I feel like there should be more letters in there. It doesn't seem right.
Because you get to the PvE, and then you just add in 2 on the end, but when you look it down, it's like PvE.
Yeah, it's written a lot nicer than it is said, put it that way. But yeah, I am looking forward to getting into this one. I do feel like it should have, because there isn't that many PvEVP genre games.
PVC, UP, CVC, QVC.
For console, they all seem to be PC games, like Escape from Tarkov. I think the only one that I know of on console is the one that Enzo always plays. Vigor, whichever one that is. I think that's the only one on there. There isn't. Escape from Tarkov is only on PC, so correct me if I'm wrong. There may be another one out there, but that's the only one that springs to mind. So I feel like a game like this is destined at some point to be on the console. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and probably it's free, so why wouldn't I want to be able to give this a go and see what's cracking with it? I hopefully it's not that intensive.
Nobody look at the way that I've fucked this up with the caps at all. The Cycle for Frontier.
Wait, no, it's the Cycle Frontier.
Okay, do you know what? We're just going with it. You can see. I wasn't looking at it. It was off the screen. We'll just put this on the screen. Everyone will just fine.
It works.
Yeah.
Chaos says, lads. Tito says, basically rumour has an entire family-run factory moved from your local neck of the woods due to taxes being levelled up, and they're all set down here. All the families moved with the employer, and let's just say a lot of the families are very close when it comes to their own G pool.
Your mum's your dad. Your dad's your mum.
Spike says, all I can think about is how we need more PvPVE games, just so you guys have to say it more. Trip me up there. Yeah, it's I'm. What about you? I know you haven't played this. I don't think you've played any of these type of games before, have you? Was Evolve one of them as well? I think Evolve way back when.
Not outside of events. I've not played it in my own home sort of setup. I am interested. Like Tarkov does have my attention. As does things like DayZs and the things like that. Tarkov is just too much though for me, and that's where like explaining this is like you think of the DayZs and the armors, and then you squash those down, make them a bit more user friendly. Don't make them stupidly complex. Make things like You don't have to fucking get your magazines and put every single bullet in and then put your magazine in your gun. When you reload, you drop it on the floor and you have to pick it back up again. If you squash all of that down, what do you get? PUBG, basically. Obviously, it's not quite the same, but you get what I'm saying. So if you take Tarkov and you get the map to not just be a plain map, you get actual points of interest. And the stuff that it talked about in this, it aims to be a lighter, less punishing take on that formula. It offers true matchmaking. It's designed to get players with a similar rate of extraction together. It has simplified ammo and armor systems, a clear map, and extraction zones, and more besides. It's basically Tarkov Light, but with a slightly different theme. That speaks to me because I'm not quite... There is a considerable jump going from a PUBG, which is like there's a considerable jump going from Fortnite to PUBG. Then there's a considerable jump going from PUBG to fucking Tarkov. That's a monumental jump. So in the middle there, you stick something like this in. This could be a gateway sort of game for people like me that think Tarkov looks badass. The thing with PUBG, it's you could lose everything in a split second. In Tarkov, you lose everything in a split of a split second.
Yeah.
So
it's the first time that I've heard the phrase extraction royale, and I feel like I should have heard that sooner.
I kind of feel like I mean, it could be a phrase that's been used. I've not heard it. I kind of feel like that Sherif Saed's just had a brainwave and gone, let's call it that. If it is,
trademark that motherfucker.
Nice. Case right zero, no baby did shout out, but Alrit, Wagwan. How are we doing? It's been a while. What you been up to? Give me the details. I want all of the details. Do you know what? I want to know exactly what you had for tea last night. Give me the details. Tell me now. Spike. Oh, yeah, that's one you did with the PvPvE.
Yeah, well done. Nailed it.
The thing is, though, is like Spike's said PvPvE, which that's what I'm used to. PvPvE. That rolls off the tongue. This says PvEVP, and that's when my brain balks, because PvE... VP just doesn't roll off the tongue as well for me. PvPvE.
That was an oversight on my side because I didn't even realise.
Did you not?
Nope.
So when I was trying to read that bit out, that's when I was like
PvPvE. Yeah, because that's what I said was like evolve.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I never even would have put Daisy in that, but you bang on. You're in a
zombies and shit.
Yeah, you bang on. I never even would have put that in that category, but yeah. Do we put armor in that then?
Yeah. Similar sort of stuff. So this is that, but light. You don't just spawn in. Like, I've watched DayZ and I've thought this is fucking amazing because I'm watching someone like a Shroud or a Sacriel or a Break, and they're just like in the middle of nowhere, but they've spent the amount of time I've spent in PUBG in this game 5 years ago. So they go, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I know roughly there's a town in this sort of direction, and they go this way. And for me, I'd be like,
yeah, that's what I was like with DayZ though, because there's no map. There's no map. You have to look at the signs.
Where the
signposts.
fuck am I?
But that was the beauty of it. Like, I got to know the entire map like the back of my hand. But that's because I lived in that. I fucking loved that.
And that's the beauty in it, and that's the beauty of PUBG. Looking at like I've watched new people play PUBG, and they've gone, what? Why is the green ammo? Why is that? Is green better than orange? Is orange like not? And it's obvious to me, but because they've got used to it, and when you get used to it, you feel like I'm a fucking god. And it's the same thing with something like a DayZ and a Tarkov and so on. But there is just so much to get used to that I think that's a long period of stress. It's a stressful game in that sort of sense. You're trying to figure out, I don't know what it is. I know that I've got an objective. I know I'm going to get killed, but I can't even figure out how to just hold up the map or to fucking load my gun. I've got a gun in my hand. There's a guy over there.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I was watching the doc play Tarkov, and he, in his head, knew the value of the scrap parts and stuff like that he was picking up. So, like, he'd pick up a load of bolts or something he knows that he might be able to get 100 quid for, but then he'd pick up a floppy disk that'd be worth 300 quid, but he doesn't tell you the value of it as far as I'm aware.
You
just know it until you, and then when you get extracted, you can sell those
so
parts.
So when I first watched him, when he first started playing it, and he'd be sat there going, so I've got a spark plug. People go, oh yeah, fucking yeah, keep that. And he's like, okay, I'll keep that. And there's like, I've got a graphics card. And people are like, oh yeah, keep that. And then other people going, the graphics cards are actually, look at the marketplace. They were worth 1,200. They're only worth 4 now. So you're actually pound for pound, the amount of space that you can get more spark plugs. And I'm thinking,
but that's when you would enter God mode, wouldn't you? That's when you know the market. It's like fucking trading on FIFA.
You're like
I'm not riding the wave on that.
Neo fucking reading the Matrix. Just fucking all I'm seeing is green numbers and shit moving.
That's Santi Cazorla. He's not played all season, but he did one. One of his cards will come out, and you're just like, yeah, okay, he's worth as much as Pele. And you're like,
the fuck?
Yeah, I should have bought 4 of him, but yeah, it baffles me. But that's where obviously people who play it constantly know the game inside out. That's where they benefit from it, and it's fixated towards the hardcore players, and there's nothing wrong with that because you will get that on every single game. It's just for you to how much effort do you want to put into this?
And I think that's the thing. PUBG for someone that plays Fortnite is a hardcore game. PUBG. For someone that plays Tarkov is, you like those arcade shooters, do you?
And then puts it boy games.
Yeah, exactly. So the Cycle Frontier is halfway. Yeah. So that's kind of where I need to be. Something that gives me that little bit in between.
Well, this absolutely stinks of us playing it at some point then.
Yep. 2 weeks. 2 weeks till it comes out. Let's get that installed.
Yeah,
boy. Slummed it yesterday. Had Taco Bell. Ooh. What we're talking Crunch Wrap? What we're saying?
Taco Bell Crunch Wrap.
Yeah, big things. That's me. I think I'm gonna make a PvPvE.
Well done.
I'm good. Got this week off work. Going to MCM tomorrow. Nice.
Hey,
disappointing. Style. Not that you're going. Disappointing that. Fuck you. How dare you go? Fuck you. It's disappointing because we were supposed to be there. We were supposed to have been going for meetings and stuff today and being there tomorrow. But without naming brands, you wouldn't guess who it is anyway. It's not anyone that we're publicly linked to kind of thing. Brands that we were expecting to be there are no longer being there, so our need to be there is not there other than to just going, hey, how you doing? Mm-hmm. So we were hoping to do the hey, how you doing whilst doing business stuff, but the business stuff isn't happening there now. So long story short, it's a shame that we're not there. Not that you're gonna be there, if you know what I mean. It's spam. It is spam. It was spam, 100%. We were gonna build a fucking stand out of spam and everything. Just like we'd had it all mocked up, like in the side room back there. We had it like we got like a fucking 20-foot can of spam, just carved it out. Like you see those people cave buildings out of fucking rocks and stuff. We did that. Turns out spam doesn't have great structural integrity, so we haven't seen Luke on the channel for a few weeks because it was in a spam avalanche. A spam avalanche. There you go.
That's work.
It's PvPvE.
PvP.
So yes, it was spam. Spam didn't like the result of the spam avalanche, so it's not spam anymore. That's what I'm saying. On that bombshell, thank you very much, everyone that's joined us in the stream today. We appreciate you very, very much. Just a reminder, there is only one episode of The Scoop this week, but you do have 2 gameplay streams this weekend. PUBG with me.
Yes.
And Bib's playing Fortnite.
Yep.
What are you playing, Bib?
I'm playing Outward. Thank you to the lovely guys over at Koch for sending us some codes over for that game, as well as Dolman, that has also just been released as well. Fuzzy Pixels, you absolute legend. Thank you very much for hooking us up with those. So the scheduled Fortnite stream has been booted aside. We're beginning our journey again in Outward on Saturday afternoon.
Nice. Shout out to Koch and Fuzzy Pixels for the hookup. We appreciate it very much. Also, shout out to Spike, who just said BVP. VE VP VBB BB. That was very French of you there. They just fit in. Yeah. Bebe VP. So yes, this weekend a couple of gameplay streams. Tomorrow we'll be back with a scoop and stuff. Do stick around. We are going to drop a raid on one of our friends. We appreciate anyone that does go over for a raid. Not only because we get to help out a friend, but you get a few extra sprinkles as well, which are our channel points you can spend. We were doing a few sprinkles bets last night, as usual. Nietzsche was giving sprinkles hand over fist to other people because he was throwing money around. You know what he's like. But before any of that happens, Mr. Bib, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, Graham. Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of The Scoop today. Thank you very much for helping us shape our show today for you guys that submitted it into the Scoop area on our Discord, which brings me on to my next point. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be there for you to be able to do so. But all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. Ish. Tito says, I've got Sniper Elite downloaded. Day 1 release on gamepads. Let's go.
Gamepads.
Shout out to Xbox gamepads. Yeah. He then does say afterwards, Game Pass, goddamn new phone autocorrect, haven't educated it yet. Exclamation mark Game Pass. living his best life. This is what happens. I mean, Tito, let me give you a story. Got his old phone, didn't get it insured, broke the fecker, and then has basically been using like a Nokia 5110, but with only half a screen and a couple of buttons missing ever since.
That sounds very similar to the story of you going to the gym, falling over on the treadmill, your phone going flying, you using a phone from a couple of years ago that kept on taking pictures of your pocket.
No. That's a slightly different story. I used the phone for a couple of years ago until they replaced the screen on my broken phone, which is shit and takes pictures of videos in my pocket.
Is that still the same phone?
That's the same phone. Guess who should have had his phone replaced today? But because he's in the office, has had to reschedule it to tomorrow. So tomorrow, DPD are delivering me my new old phone.
Oh, well, he's probably just about as likely as your builder turning up as well.
Fucking yeah, let's go. Fucking fucker. Did you know that if you have an Xbox, you can get Game Pass Where for a low monthly fee of only $10.99? You get access to hundreds of games, including day one releases, and even EA games. That's not been updated because it also would say, and Bethesda, and Activision probably. And you can even get the first 3 months for only £1. Tito says, I assure you, I was not in a gym.
You and me both, brother.
Touche. But that's it. We are going to disappear. Stick around for the raid. We haven't figured out who it's going to be yet, so do hang about while we do figure that out. But until next time, we'll see you 10 a.m. tomorrow. Until then,
stay frosty.